Hi, I'm Carly Hester, and I am in recovery from disordered eating. I also live with anxiety, OCD, and PTSD. Ever since I was a little girl, I struggled with anxiety. It was something that I felt like always lived inside of me. And then as I grew a little older, I suffered a lot of traumatic loss. When I was a young girl, I lost both my mom and my dad before I turned 13. My mom died to cancer, and my dad died suddenly in a car accident when I was a little girl. I was raised by my siblings, by various aunts and uncles and family members. I suffered a lot of different trauma. I felt out of control. I didn't feel stability often. I remember feeling depression for the first time as a young teenager. And I also remember feeling that feeling of being out of control and feeling like nothing was going right and all of these bad things were happening. And so I turned to food as a coping mechanism. And I thought, okay, like this is going to be the thing that I have control over. And I used it as a way of feeling like I had something that I could grasp onto and hold on to. And it really spiraled out of control all through high school. I was very private about a lot of it until actually a lot of my friends came forward and kind of helped encourage me to get support and get help, which I did. But during that whole journey of me dealing with disordered eating, I was still dealing with that underlying anxiety and depression and feeling super overwhelmed with navigating life because I was dealing with this grief and loss of my parents. I was being tossed around essentially from like aunt and uncle to another aunt and uncle to another aunt and uncle, and I didn't feel stable. So this disordered eating thing just became a pattern, really. It was something that I felt comfort in a weird way, and I utilized it almost like, a substance, kind of. I turned to it whenever I felt lost or overwhelmed, and every single time I turned to it, I wrapped myself up in it, and it became like this vicious cycle of me thinking I'm utilizing this food as a coping mechanism or a comfort, and then before you knew it, I was back into the cycle of binging and purging and restricting and hiding and lying and becoming super private and secretive with my disordered eating. When I was a little bit older, out of college, I came to a place where I got serious help and regular treatment. And I had an incredible experience with a therapist, being able to speak with them about my trauma and my healing and grief and loss and all of the symptoms I was having regarding my anxiety and depression. I also went to treatment for my disordered eating, and that was the first time that I ever experienced group therapy and being with other women who lived with similar symptoms as me. And I remember sitting on the couches and hearing the stories of these other women, some young, some my age, some even older than me, that I was like, I feel you, like me too, or I've been there, or I experienced that too. And that was really my first experience of being in a space where I didn't feel alone. And I didn't feel like I was just sitting on a couch talking to someone about all of my problems. I had a lot of reflection and feedback and support, and we did a lot of cool things with each other, and we explored art together and music and body movement, and that's really where I learned to reconnect with my body and my spirit. And then I really went down a new journey for myself of self-love and acceptance, and through that also kind of found my inner soul, and really started to love myself again, and through that explored my sexuality and who I was as a woman. Throughout my life, there have been so many times where I have felt like I was out of control, or that I wasn't going to amount to anything, or that I was always going to be identified by my trauma or my mental illness. I never thought that I would find someone to love me, or that I was going to find someone to love, because I was so afraid to love who I love. And as a gay woman, I never imagined having a wedding or having a family and being a mother, and that was something that I dreamt about. And now, today, I am a wife to an incredible woman, and I have 3 beautiful children who I actually adopted through the foster care system. And I see myself in a lot of the foster children that have come through my home, because oftentimes I see them come and they feel the things I felt when I was a kid. They feel overwhelmed. They feel scared. And my wife and I hope that we can give them that stability, and that we can give them that love and that home that they deserve. And I've gotten to adopt 3 beautiful children from foster care and be a foster parent to 17 incredible kids. And my oldest daughter, she's 18, and she came to us when she was 16 in a state of brokenness and in a state of fear and in a state of just feeling so lost and unloved. And I looked her in the eye and I saw myself in her. And seeing her resilience today keeps me going. Excuse me. And reminds me that I am strong and that I have been through a lot. And I see her strength and her boldness and her bravery and resilience, and I admire her. And that's the kind of stuff that keeps me moving and motivated, is so that she can grow up in a home that is filled with love, and is filled with acceptance, and is filled with safety, and that she will finally feel like she's part of a family. My family is my world, and they are my motivation and people that I admire and that I hope I make proud, because they make me so proud every day. My kids always laugh at me because our house is full of mental health chatter. We always talk about self-care and taking deep breaths and being aware of your feelings and your emotions. And I always thought it was silly. That's just like how I am. I'm always that person that's always take a deep breath, feel your feelings, all of those things, which are great. But the impact that has had on my kids is so incredible. And my oldest daughter, she jokes about it all the time. You're always asking me how my heart is. You're always asking me how things are. You're asking me to be in touch with my emotions. And then recently, she reminded me that she never had an adult in her life ask her those questions. And she never had a parent, because she was in this system for a few years and then suffered a lot of trauma as a young girl. She never had a safe space to explore those emotions and those feelings. And it really is such an important thing to create spaces of safety around mental health conversations and checking in on your kids, no matter how young or old they are, asking them about their heart, asking them about their emotions, helping them navigate hard days, helping them to understand what their feelings are. I do it with my 3-year-old and I do it with my 18-year-old. And it really creates a space where they can feel okay to not be okay. And it's something that I hope to continue to do as my kids grow up so that they never feel afraid to talk about their emotions or their mental health at home. I think it's so awesome that NAMI provides programs such as Ending the Silence, because talking about mental health at a young age is so essential. And sometimes I know people are like, oh, I don't want to talk about this with young kids because they don't understand it, or it's too taboo of a topic, or it's too tough of a topic. But these kids need NAMI Ending the Silence. They need us to go in there and talk about it, because they need to know it's okay to not be okay. And they need to know that they are not alone. They need to learn how to identify signs and symptoms, and they need to learn how to help themselves and help a friend. And the ETS program does that. And it not only educates these kiddos, but the storytelling component that Ending the Silence provides, where a young person comes in and shares their journey, is so, so powerful. And being a part of ETS, I know for a fact that these kids are so grateful that that young person shared their story, that they can look at a young person and say, wow, look at them. Like, they went through this whole journey of mental health, and they are standing up here today talking about it. And that is so inspiring. And it is so essential that we have these conversations with these young people, because they're going to save the world one day. And I think that Ending the Silence is so special, and it provides such an incredible opportunity for these young people to learn how to be mental health advocates. It's never, ever too young to educate your kiddos about mental health. The sooner, the better. I mean, my 3-year-old sometimes has to remind me, Mommy, calm your body, she'll say. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And it's silly, but they're listening. They are listening. So if you are practicing this stuff with your kids, they will remember it and hopefully practice it when they feel, like they're going through an emotion that's hard. They're not just gonna shove it away or pretend it doesn't exist. They're going to embrace it, hopefully in a safe way, and work through it. So I am open with my kids about it, and they know my journey. And I think that they appreciate it, because they don't just see me as this statue of a mom. They see me as a person and as a human with challenges, but they also see me as resilient. And I think that that's really inspiring.